welcome to another episode of Double J's List. Today, I'm going to start the installation of a subwoofer into the LX470 Toyota Land Cruiser. This has the Mark Levinson sound system. It has a factory subwoofer. It's only 6.5 inches, and it was replaced at one time with an aftermarket subwoofer that was not as high of an ohm rating as the factory one. The factory ohm rating is 12, and the subwoofer that was in there was 8. I replaced it because it sounded blown with another aftermarket one that was also 8 ohms, and it still didn't sound right, leaving me to believe that the amplifier just wasn't working well with an 8 ohm speaker. It sounds good at low volumes, but when you turn it up, I think there's just not enough resistance for it to sound right. So my new theory, rather than going out and buying a factory subwoofer, which are very hard to come by and they're very expensive, I'm going to bypass the entire problem by installing an aftermarket subwoofer that has an amplifier built in. This is a JBL BassPro 12. There's the amplifier on the back. My idea is if it just uses the signal from what was going to the subwoofer, put that to the high input of the amplifier, there's not going to be very much load on the amplifier for that subwoofer, and it should create some pretty good sound. The biggest complaint I was reading about the Mark Levinson system is that it didn't have enough bass, and I think a 12-inch ported box should have more than enough bass. It's adjustable, and it comes in the package here. Even has a little remote that you can mount up by the dashboard, so you can adjust the amount of bass that is coming out of it. So if it's too much, you can turn it down. If you want more, you can turn it up. But and there's plenty of cargo space, and it's taking up some room, but it's not like the car's small. So I figured this would be a fun way to try to address the issue. I'm not going to provide an entire step-by-step process of the installation. I'm only going to show some vehicle-specific things because there are plenty of videos out there on how to install a subwoofer in a car. So the biggest challenge I think is going to be is routing this power cable for the amplifier. It's an 8-gauge kit that I bought off eBay. It's brand new in the package. I guess it's an older model, so it was discounted. Also, I picked up a really good deal on this amplifier subwoofer combo. They're about $300 normally, and I found this on eBay. It said new bulk packaging, and it was only $179. It's a lot cheaper. And it came in a JBL box with the instructions and all the normal packaging. I don't know what bulk packaging meant, but it seems pretty good to me. So smells new, looks brand new, is all wrapped in plastic. So I think it's going to be more than fine. I'm going to get cracking on this. I'll let you know what's going on in a minute. Let's document this really quick. This grommet is for the wire harness for the whole truck. It seems to be the only grommet I can find that's nearby. I wasn't a real big fan of cutting into it. However, I pointed the blade away, as you can tell, and just made my cut. And I still got it in there. I'm going to pull it out, and it looks like I'm going to have to feed it through the top and then pull it all the way through the bottom, which isn't ideal, but it's not too bad. As you can see, it gives me a pretty direct route right to the battery. That's the positive terminal all the way over there. So the loop around the battery this way or around the front, we'll see. But that's what we're going to do for right now. Just wanted to make sure you saw that. All right, moving on. I've connected the wire. It came with a fuse block. And then the fuse block connects to the other wire, and I've used the provided wiring loom, as you can see, to go all the way through down to the rubber boot that I cut through. All right, I also use a zip tie right here, hold to that air conditioning line, just to keep it from moving around. I wanted to keep it loose here so it would be easy to access and pull out, do fuses, and I'd be able to open this actual fuse box if I ever need to without having to move too much out of the way. So far, so good. All right, moving on. I've got the wire concealed for the power underneath a bunch of parts. After doing that, I realized I got to run that remote all the way up front, so I won't put this together quite yet. Just wanted to highlight the point where I'm going to use as the input for the speaker. This wire right here, it was at the harness that you can see below here. This is where normally I don't like cutting wires that are part of a factory harness, but I don't plan on using this speaker or box ever again because it really didn't sound good and it's really not ample. So I'm going to cut it there, add some speaker wire to it, and then splice it to the amplifier. Okay, I've routed the remote volume control. I'm going to two-sided tape it here. It actually comes with Velcro, so you can move it if you need to. For now, I'd like to actually go to this blank panel and cut a hole out of it and put it in there. But this is just for the time being. I routed it underneath all of the trim through towards the back, underneath this, and then it's going to come out the same place where the power cable comes out, and I'll be connecting it all to there. Alright, to get signal to the amplifier, I've taken the subwoofer box out, the Mark Levinson one that I had the unsuccessful bout with this aftermarket subwoofer. I believe it was a Pile that I bought from Amazon. And I took this harness out, and I've cut the wires, and there's red and black, so I believe that's positive and negative. I'm going to wire the speaker wire to it, and then I'll cap these together. And then on the other end, I've already done it. I've taken both positive leads, both negative leads, because it's supposed to be 2 speakers going into the amplifier. It's just going to be 1 signal to each of one of them. And then this plugs into the amplifier on the back of that speaker box, and that should serve as a good signal for that amplifier to work. In theory, there's a passover in the amplifier that's going to the speaker, so it should only be the lower frequencies. I may not even have to use the crossover that's on the amplifier, but we'll experiment with that after we get it all hooked up and try. But after that, yeah, we'll give it a try and see what happens. Alright, I'll just do a quick finale here. I've got it all installed. I got it all working. I found that I had to turn the bass all the way down, and everything else really low. Everything wound up kind of being amplified. I can't play any music because I don't have anything that's copyright free. I've got this mounted here. Let me see if I can get that in. I don't have enough light. Anyway, I found that all the levels are extremely low, and it actually sounds really good. I have a lot more tweaking to do. Pretty cool so far. Let me see if I can get in the back real quick. I haven't cleaned up the wires yet, but I had to go to the this power port here to use as a remote wire. That goes on when you put in an accessory or on to fire up the amplifier, because the signal coming from the subwoofer wire was not enough to use as the signal wire. It's a little bit messy right now. You can see what I've done. I'm going to move that remote wire down through the ashtray like I did with the speaker wire later. I just did that because it was getting late and had to get done. But it's in, and I'll keep you updated how it works out in the long term. Thank you for watching.